Angola is one of the most interesting countries with incredibly friendly, great people. People that won their independence after 40 years of civil war in 2002 and that are so determined to rebuild their country. My name is Satanas. I'm the founder, chairman of Gemcorp.
I'm Felipe Berliner. I'm the head of structuring of Gemcorp and I'm one of the founding partners of the firm. So the first time I went to Angola was in 2007. I was then working with a US-based investment bank. That's where we started, by the usual way that bankers approach, like going to the various ministries, trying to get to know the people, got to know the banking system, the corporations. Back in 2007, I was working in the emerging markets desk. Here in London, you have the people covering Middle East, you had the people covering Eastern Europe. There was pretty much no one covering Portuguese-speaking countries. And after doing a series of deals in Nigeria and the Anglophone countries in Africa, I decided to venture into the Portuguese-speaking countries, Angola and Mozambique. And it was in Angola that we found a lot of opportunities on where to develop the business. It was only 5 years from the end of the civil war of the country. And the country was in the mood of growing and leaving the past behind. And it was all about business, at least on the ground. Internationally, there was very little knowledge about Angola, very little knowledge of what was happening in the country, except for the oil companies.
That's one of the most amazing features of the country, that the country is heavily exposed to oil exports. It is the second largest oil exporter in sub-Saharan Africa after Nigeria. It has had a very bumpy ride with the oil prices during the last 10 years. And during that time, actually, we saw a real social challenge there that the country was facing for lack of food and lack of pharmaceutical pharma items. And we were asked by the government, is there a way where we could help and intervene and find a way to help with the shortages? And that's where I would say one of the most amazing features of Gemcorp, our tenacity, our ability to think out of the box. At a time when almost every bank globally was shutting their lines for the country. And what I was mostly impressed about the country was that from 2002, after the long civil war, GDP of the country was around $5-6 billion. By 2014-15, the GDP was $150 billion. It's one of the most unprecedented economic growth that any country has witnessed.
The population of Angola is a very young population, very low average age in the country, and that represents the future, right? If you have a population that young, everyone is thinking of the future and how can they improve their lives, and if you improve your life, you're going to improve the common good. And you see that not only on the young entrepreneurs, and we deal with and we partner with some very spectacular individuals in the country that we're really impressed with the things they have built and what they have achieved coming from what they did. But also in the public sector, you see this new generation of people that are in very senior positions that are really making a difference.
And when we started doing business in Angola, when for the first time, I really then started to understand that what I'm seeing in Angola, I actually lived through to a certain degree, and I have seen and experienced in Bulgaria. Unfortunately, at Bulgaria at that time, I had no means to influence or do anything. Now, with the means that we have of our business, we saw a clear opportunity that with relatively little financial impact or monetary impact, you could cause a lot of improvement, a lot of positive change.
I believe that's one of the key elements of the strategy that we have for the key countries that we decide to invest. We're actually on the ground, right? Instead of being opportunistic, we rather have clients that we do repeated transactions over the years with deep relationship rather than opportunistic transactions here and there.
Obviously, Gemcorp is not the only emerging market asset manager or commodity firm out there, but the key differentiator for Gemcorp is that we are one of the very few ones that actually have our boots on the ground. We don't care only about the financial return that we make, which is quite an attractive return measured to the risk that we are taking and managing by investing our money, but the most rewarding part of the investment is actually the fact that you know that with every dollar that we invest, there is a real impact behind this. the Cabinda refinery that we're building in Angola. It's a very ambitious, very large private investment that we're doing. It's almost $1 billion investment. It's a real game changer for the local economy from a financial perspective, but also it's a real game changer for the local society because it's going to create more than 2,000 direct and indirect jobs.
I care about every place where we do business. Every place we do business, we do it with the same level of professionalism. The difference is that the level of relationship that we managed to achieve in that country over the 10, 15 years that we have been on the ground doing business with the country through different generations of professionals. It obviously makes a difference when you're making an investment.
One thing that personally drives me, and I believe that also my key partners in the firm share as a vision, is that we really want to make a sustainable impact in Africa and in the countries where we invest and operate, creating industries, creating schools, creating universities to be able to educate the future of this continent. I really think what will make me incredibly happy, incredibly satisfying is to look back in 5-10 years time and say, look, with Gemcorp we've created millions of jobs in those countries where we work, and I think that will be priceless.